welcome to another very simple layout. Now I wanted to do one of these because I haven't done one for a little while, where I sort of delve back into my older supplies that don't get as much love because I buy new things. So this particular paint palette, it's made by SEMCO and it's called Pearlescent paint. Now it's a watercolor paint palette. You can get it from Spotlight. I did check before I started this particular voiceover, and it is still available at Spotlight for Australian New Zealanders, and it is $7. So if you're looking for a little bit of shimmer, you may not have a lot of storage space, but you like a bit of shimmer on your layout, this one's perfect. It's not the most pigmented when you come to the color. Like this particular, you're looking at these two colors in the palette and they look like they're going to be a dark red, like a dark, a deep coral. But when they dry, there's quite a lot of silver mica in them. So they dry a little bit more in the coral, light coral sort of direction. Now, all I'm using here is two very cheap, very affordable square-ended paintbrushes. They're just acrylic paintbrushes. They're super simple. And I'm just creating a variation of varying different lines going up both sides of the border. That's pretty much what I'm doing, just creating my own border because I wanted to do something. I know there's something I want to sort of put out there. I know there's a lot of new paper packs that come out, new designs, like we all get caught up in the newness of everything. Don't worry, I get caught up in the same thing, don't you worry. But what I'm saying is if you don't have the money to be able to afford to constantly be buying more and more and more, and let's be honest, there's only so many hours in a day you can scrapbook, and there's only so much you can use your papers for. You know, I mean, if you do mixed media journals, if you do scrapbooking, if you do journaling in general, you know, planner style, yes, you can use up a lot of stuff, but yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day, right? And you got to sleep for at least 8 of them. So when you stop and think about it, it's wonderful that there's all these new products that come out over and over. But consider doing something like this. This is just a piece of white cardstock. This is just the Recollections brand that I got from, I think I get it from, no, actually, I tell a lie. This is Poppy Crafts. And you know what? If you want to create a nice border, just paint it. Use the paints that you're using. Use the supply that you've got. You could put those paints through a stencil. You could use a makeup sponge and sponge them through. You could create lots of shimmer and shine without actually going and having to purchase the latest and greatest paper release, you know, or collection release. Don't get me wrong, I still buy my collections. I absolutely love them, and I am more than happy to buy them and use them and show you how to use them and get the most out of them. Absolutely. But I think there's also, where there is room for that in our scrappy world, there's also room for us to have a look at things like this and go, you know what? Just get back to basics. I think I use this kind of layout as a reset for my brain. I find that I'm constantly, and believe me when I say I am constantly, this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I actually woke up the last 2 mornings. I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, both times with layout ideas. Now that is, I know this is my job. This is what I do. I'm dedicated to my job. I'm dedicated to you guys 100%. But waking up at 3 a.m., that's kind of getting a little bit much. I'll call it for what it is. Like, seriously, I need sleep. The ideas just have to stop flowing for me. I have more ideas in every day than I could possibly scrap in a lifetime. It's just the kind of brain that I've been blessed with, and I absolutely love doing it. And it's great. Now, this is how I line things up when it comes to lining up my background. I had a bit of issue here because I overlapped it. Do that, line it up to where you want it, just touch the corners and then just peel out the tear tape. That works a treat. The reason I use the tape on it there is because I use liquid on the edges, and this is not primed paper at all. I didn't put anything else on here other than the watercolor paint. So I wanted to, when I attached it to the black, it just helps it come back to a nice flat sheet and it's not all warped. So now I am creating my layout. Now, I've used this particular chipboard set twice now in as many days. So I don't do that very often, but I just thought, you know what? I'm getting low on all the main things. I wanted to make this title Playtime with Daddy. That's what I wanted to make this title. But I just didn't have the letters. I did MacGyver a Y and I did MacGyver a T. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but I am finding that I am doing it a little bit more often, because otherwise I'm wasting a stack of letters and stickers, you know, like, and I hate that. But I did want to use the with, but there was not another T and there wasn't another F. It was just annoying. Now, you just saw me with that little glass container. Now, that's the one I popped up the other day. It was a quick video showing you how you can alter your brads so they sort of come into more the colors and tones that you're using now, versus when you bought the brads. For example, myself, I bought mine, the ones that I end up using on this layout, I bought about 17 years ago. Now I've just gone over and I've just sprayed that with my homemade mica spray in the gold, and I absolutely love this stuff. There is a video in my playlist. It's just all on its own. It's not hidden anywhere, how you can make this gold spray, and it is legit. It is the best. I will be very, very hard pressed to ever purchase another gold spray like this. I never actually had the gold, what do they call it? The Heidi Swap Color Shine. I never actually had that, but I imagine that this is probably what it was like. Although I do remember a lot of people complaining about it having an oily ring if you didn't mix it properly. This never has an oily ring at all. Every single time, doesn't matter what I spray it on. And yes, when I spray this, it gets my laptop, it gets my TV monitor, it gets my desk, obviously the mat that's underneath me, my iPad, and let's not forget my iPhone. It gets that all the time. Now I was playing with that. I thought I would have just the gold top and bottom with the coral through the center. That's a liquid pearls, and it's literally, the color is called coral, and it's a stunning color. And I bought it for my baby photos, you know, from my children, and it absolutely worked a treat. Don't forget, when you buy something like liquid pearls, they're only $4 or $5 for the bottle. Excuse me. But remember that you can use it on so much more. I was trying to use it, see what it would do on top of that brad then, but it didn't do anything. It wasn't going to stick to it. But on these letters, it looked amazing. Now, here's my gold shimmer spray. I just needed something through the center there. I was going to use a stencil, but I thought, no, I'm actually going to do this splitty splatty thing. I was feeling like that could work on this layout. I always like doing my splitty splats. If ever I'm going to do them, I'll do them like this before I put anything else down, because I hate, gives me anxiety thinking that I'm going to get the splats on top of everything. So then I decided to come in. I was going to do like a different kind of stencil, but then I thought, no, you know what? I'm actually going to use so I've done the splitty splats with the mica, with the watercolor dealio. Did you see what I just did? I just put I put the texture paste on top of the stencil because it was sitting on top of my plastic. Oh, geez. Okay, so this is how I color match sometimes. I was going to use my watercolor, but then I decided, no, I'm going to put some of the liquid pearls in with the Crafters Workshop Light and Fluffy modeling paste, and it color matched beautifully. Didn't really use that much out of the bottle, but it looked really, really nice. It all really went together and it coordinated. So this is another way that you can do this, guys. There's a color option. You've got the ability to have it dimensional by using the liquid pearls. You've then got the option to use the liquid pearls to color coordinate texture paste, modeling paste, any of those things. You can use it as a paint, you can use it as a dot, you can, like, there's just so many different ways that you can use it. So when it comes to an expensive product, it's not expensive because you're really able to get multiple different layers using the one product. So I've used it here on my letters. I've used it to combine with the texture paste. It's all the one color. So that's what I wanted to show you in this layout, that sometimes and I'm guilty, and if Cassandra is watching this, she will know I am super guilty of this. I'm one of these people, I've got to have, if I buy one of something, I've got to buy all of it. I have to have all the colors, or all the shine, or all the shimmer. I have to do it that way. No, I know I'm annoying, but hey, I do it, I'll spend it, I'll use it, and then you can work out if it's something that you would like to buy. So I'm just working out my title here. It was a little bit fiddly because I MacGyvered a couple of letters and it was a little bit annoying, but the gold and the shimmer, and you can see with the reflection at the moment, it's working beautifully. So what I did end up doing was I went around these letters with a black POSCA pen. Because I've used black on my border, I always like to, if it's black or if it's gold or if it's blue or whatever the color is that I use around my border, I try and make sure that that color is reciprocated at least 2 or 3 times, or repeated, you know, 2 or 3 times throughout the layout, and it works a treat. It really does, and it's the thing that makes your layout go pop. It really does. There's my MacGyvered Y. It was giving me grief. It didn't want to sit in the right spot, and I knew I was using art glitter glue, and today it's quite warm. Can't believe I've got parent-teacher interviews at the high school, and I always go to the very first one when my kids are in like grade 7, and oh, it's hot. I hate going to these things when it's really, really hot, because anyone who suffers from rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia will know that our bodies are not designed for a hot climate. It just doesn't work. Everything swells up, everything hurts, everything is puffy. It's awful. So I've put my title down and I thought that I might want to add some leaves or something. These are some leaves that I have die cut, and I've die cut them in white, and I've just got them sitting in snap lock bags, just in one of my boxes, and that way I can just pull some when and I don't have to get my whole machine out and the dies and the whole 9 yards. It's good to just sit there and cut some out and have them ready to go. It's really handy. Now, dies are expensive, yes, but they're a one-off outlay. And I do feel, I thought when I bought my Cricut that I would never get into dies, but they give you a different finish. They really do. And when it comes to leaves and vines, I like my die cut ones. I really do. They're stunning. I love them. So I'm going around this. I've sped this right up because you know how to trace a letter. But I did leave some of it in so that you could see exactly how I did this. So I think going around the letters, I'm not touching the cardboard. I'm only on the chipboard letter. And in all honesty, it just makes the letter pop. I love it. So it's kind of like when I make my my titles with my Cricut, and I do an offset, and it gives you that difference and it gives you that pop off the page. That's kind of what going around the black. So this is another way you can do that if you don't own a Cricut. This is another thing you can do. The other thing is too, that mica spray, it will go over anything. It will totally cover. So if you have chipboard letters that don't match, because they, sorry about that. See, 3 a.m. Stupid time to wake up. Okay. If you have letters that maybe they're in different colors, but they're the same shape, and you've run out of S's in one, but you need, you know, whatever, that mica, the homemade mica spray, Bob's your uncle. It will go over it all day long. Not to mention the liquid pearls will go over any letters and it stays on. You can paint them. You can, if you've only got acrylic paint, you can paint over them. You can stencil on top of them. You can stamp on top of them. There's so many different things that you can do that will allow you to have a different title, even if you don't own a Cricut. You can make it your own. And that is the one thing that I'm really, truly passionate about, is you might have the same chipboard letters that I have, but your album and my album would look completely different because of the way I do my letters. And, you know, you might pull out the word daddy as well, but you might do it in rustic greens and browns. You know, like, it's just a way to make your pages stand out and be just a little bit different. So now I debated right from the beginning whether I was going to go around these brush strokes and make them sort of feel a bit more like a brick. I considered leaving them the way they were, but I felt they didn't look finished off. So I just go around the outside edges, and I think it finishes it off perfectly. So I'm going to do my shameless plug right now, which is, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you jump on board and subscribe. I am looking at having a giveaway for my 1,500 subscribers, and it will be a cash giveaway. So yeah, it's definitely worth your while. If you have anybody that maybe likes to scrap to and listen to other people when they're scrapbooking, show them my page, share it around, because as soon as we get to 1,500, then we are going to have a good giveaway, and it's going to be worthwhile, and it's going to be for everyone, not just for Australia and New Zealand. It's going to be for everyone. So this is the close-up. You can see the texture paste, you can see all the reflection and the light and the coral color, along with the mica spray in the background and on the letters. It just comes together, and I used a silver pen for my journaling so it didn't stand out too much. I felt if I did it with black it was going to be too much. And as you can see there, the girls are helping Dad with the RC. I probably broke it, to be honest. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll chat to you again soon. Bye for now.